Today we're going to be making one of these vinyl acrylic signs. This was the bubbly bar one that I had used for my mimosa bar a few weeks ago if you saw my posts. But today I'm going to be making one pretty well the exact same, except for I'm going to be making one for an oyster bar. So this is going to be my step-by-step guide. They're super easy to make. They can be pretty pricey to buy. So if you're pretty confident that you can stick a sticker, I'm pretty confident that you can make one of these signs. So this is the end result that we're going for, and I'm going to walk you through the steps on how to achieve that. So we're going to move this out of the way for now, and we're going to start by going through the different materials that we're going to need for this project. So for starters, we're going to need a piece of acrylic paint. So these can be purchased at pretty well any hardware store. I believe I like to go to Home Depot just because I can walk right in and know exactly where they are. So if you want to save yourself some time, head to Home Depot, head to the windows and doors section. They're on the back wall. You're welcome. It took me forever to find them the very first time I went. So if you don't want to search, there you go. So they come in multiple different sizes. This is the smallest size. It's an 8x10 and it sells for about $10 Canadian. So I personally find these are a really good size for tabletop signs. But if you're doing a welcome sign or something that's going to be at an entrance, you might want to look at something that's a little bit bigger. Next, we're going to need some vinyl letters. So here I have my oyster bar letters. Now these can be purchased off Etsy. There's a lot of different shops that sell them. If you're in the Ottawa area, I also make them, so reach out to me if you're interested. And once I'm moved and settled in September, I will be offering shipping for my vinyl letters as well. So take a look, see what's out there. These are so customizable. You can basically order these in whatever color you want, whatever font you want, and whatever size you want. So just take a look at what's out there and then place your order. This size sells for about $6 or $7 Canadian. And then we're going to need some type of stand. So if you saw my post from a few weeks ago, I used this little wooden block. I just made this from a piece of scrap wood I had laying around, but I also own a saw. So it might be a little difficult to make this if you don't own a saw or know somebody that has one. If you do, all you have to do is cut it to the size you want and then put a little groove in the top so that you can slide that acrylic paint right in. But if you don't have a saw or you don't have a way to make this, that's okay. These little tabletop easels are a perfect alternative. They're super cute. You can purchase them at Michael's. I've also seen them at the dollar stores, and I've seen them stained, but I've also seen them in their natural wood color. So if you wanted to leave it that naked wood color, you can, or you could stain it to whatever color that you wish. And then the last two things that you're going to need is a card of some sort. So this is just my Toys R Us rewards card, but a credit card or a debit card or any type of card like that'll work as well. It's just going to help us apply those vinyl letters. And then you might need a pair of scissors. So depending on how your vinyl letters are printed, mine was printed right across oyster bar. So because I want to put them on top of one another, I just cut them so that it makes it easier to apply. And those are all the materials that you're going to need. So let's start crafting. All right, so step one is going to be getting your acrylic paint ready. So when you buy it, it's going to come with these two plastic coverings on either side, and that's just to protect it. So leave them intact until you're ready to start your project, because when this is crystal clear, it looks a lot nicer. If you have scuff marks or fingerprints or scratch marks, it's just not going to look as nice. So leave them both intact and only peel it off once you're ready to start. So I personally like to just peel one side off while I'm actually doing the work. So let's peel off the side with the stickers because we don't need to see those. So that's what it's going to look like. And you can just discard the plastic. We don't need that anymore. So if you wanted, you can peel off the backside. I personally just find it a little easier to work on a semi-white background versus a completely clear background. But again, that's completely up to you. All right, so the next step is going to be applying those vinyl letters. So once you stick these letters, you're not going to be able to remove them or move them around. So before you peel anything, I would just kind of lay out where you want to put them, and also take into account if you're going to be using this block stand or something similar, just maybe make a little mark so you have an idea of how far that's going to come up, if you wanted it to be centered or whatnot. Just because if you centered it without that and then you put it in, it might look a lot lower than what you want it to. So I am going to be using one of those blocks because I want it to match my bubbly bar sign. So I'm going to move mine back up a little bit. And it really doesn't need to be perfect unless you're going to have multiple signs beside each other. It might look kind of funny, but mine won't be. So this is good. So your vinyl words are going to come like this. They're going to have a paper backing with a clear piece of transfer tape on top. So you're going to want to peel the transfer tape back, and you're really going to want to make sure that those letters stick to the transfer tape. If when you're pulling back, you notice that the letters are having a hard time coming off the paper backing, or they're still kind of sticking, don't keep pulling. Just put the transfer tape back, put it down on a flat surface, and take that card and just rub over those letters. So this is going to make sure that they're really stuck to that transfer tape, and you might have to do it a couple times, but if you pull back and your word is partly stuck on the transfer tape and partly stuck on the paper backing, you might rip it and then it'll be ruined. So just go really slow and make sure that it's completely stuck to the transfer tape. So mine is pretty good here. I'm going to peel that all the way off. And now I'm going to place it down. So again, I'm just eyeballing this. I haven't measured or anything like that, but I just kind of find the middle of my word there and line it up with the top and then place it down. See what I mean? Once you stick it, it's going to be really stuck. So put it down, kind of start in the middle. There, I just wanted to get rid of that air bubble. And then you'll be able to stick the rest down. So once it's down like that, you're going to take your card and you're going to go over those letters really, not too hard, but you do want to apply quite a bit of pressure. So you're going to start in the middle and you're going to work your way out to the corners, getting rid of all those air bubbles. Okay, so that looks pretty good there. So now I'm going to start peeling back from one of my corners. So I'm going to start with this corner. Actually, change your mind. I'm going to start with this corner. And you're going to peel back. And very slowly, you kind of want to rock it back and forth. And your letters should be sticking to your acrylic. Now, again, if you're noticing that they're now still sticking to that transfer tape, just put it back down. Rub with your card right over those letters and then try peeling again. And sometimes I've done this and I've had to go back and do that step multiple times. But again, if it sticks to the transfer tape and you keep pulling, you're going to rip your letters. So just be really careful, especially when the letters get really skinny, because that's where they like to sometimes tear. But just keep rocking it back and forth. Going super slow. You don't want to rush this. And again, you want to work kind of on a 45-degree angle. You don't want to peel right across. So just keep rocking.
And that's it. So we don't need that transfer tape anymore. That can go in the garbage. And now I'm going to do the exact same thing with my bar sign. So again, I'm going to peel it off here. Sometimes it's a little tricky to get, but I'm going to go really slow, making sure that it's stuck to my transfer tape. And again, just eyeballing.
So all I did there was repeat the exact same steps to attach my bar letters. Rookie video maker here, my phone died, so it cut out as I was doing that step. But even if you had multiple words, it's the exact same step no matter what you're applying. Even if you had pictures, just that rocking motion, nice and slow, and you'll get it stuck. So that's pretty well it. So once you're done this, you're going to want to go ahead and take a look at your beautiful finished piece. So I'm now going to peel off that back side, and it's going to reveal this beautiful crystal clear sign. And the only last step is then to just pick what stand you're going to use. So like I said, you can use a block or you could use an easel. Both give a really different look, which I have attached photos of in my blog. So take a look and see what your preference is. Or if you think of something else, the options are endless. So pick what you want, and that's literally it. So enjoy making your vinyl signs, and thanks for joining me.